Hey everybody, my name is Brandon. Welcome back to Cinefessions, where we talk all things media. And today I have what is currently, as of filming, my very last pile of items that I've grabbed from the thrift store. So this is Thrift Store Haul number 28, which is nuts. And I know there'll be more, but it might be a little while before I get back to my thrift store series, just because I need to get some more things from the thrift store in order to do a thrift store haul, obviously. So today is the last stack, which is awesome because I run the gamut from VHS all the way up to Blu-ray. So let's get into the, as of now, final stack of thrift store items. Before we do though, if you have a quick second, please hit that like button down below. That engagement really does help me out. But with that said, let's not waste any more time at all. Let's dive right into the 28th episode of my thrift store haul series. So I'll start off with the VHS tape I grabbed. I only grabbed one, like I said, not a collector, but this was just interesting to me when I was at the thrift store the other day, so I picked it up. Actually, the first three items are my most recent pickups, like literally a few days back, whereas everything else I've had sitting here for quite some time. But anyway, first up is a VHS tape of Firestorm. Now, the reason this looked interesting is because it stars Howie Long in that, like, big action hero role. He plays this fire jumper, I guess, or smoke jumper. What are they called? He is a smoke jumper. Yeah. And I guess there's like a prison break that happens, which sets fire to this forest. So he's trying to do, like, take care of that, but also has to deal with, like, some killer that's in there. Sounds absolutely bananas to me, but I've never seen Howie Long in a starring role like this. That's interesting. Like, that is so crazy. And the fact that it was on VHS, I was like, you know what? It just feels right. So we'll give it a shot and see how it is. But yeah, it just looks like, I don't know, so weird. From 1998. It is available on DVD if you wanted to go that route, of course, but I never seen it, never heard of it before. I figured, yeah, let's give this one a shot. So the first one today, and the only VHS tape I found, is Firestorm from 1998. From there, I guess I'll go to Blu-ray because I only have a couple of those. So the first one is actually a sequel that I didn't know existed. And turns out it's a trilogy. But this is SWAT Firefight. So of course I know of the movie SWAT. I actually own that one on Blu-ray behind me. But I didn't know there were two sequels to it. This is the first of the two sequels. I don't know what the third one's called, but yeah, I was very shocked to see that there were actually two sequels to SWAT. Obviously, these are not quite as big a budget. You can see the cast is not really well known like the original, which had a really well-known cast. I can't think of who's in it at this point, but I know it was big names for the time. And I want to say that was like around the mid-2000s. In my head, I owned that on like a double feature, maybe with that movie Stealth. You know what? I have to find it now. I'm curious. So it's not with a double feature with Stealth. I don't know why I thought about that. But anyway, it is standalone. But yeah, look at this cast from 2003. These are big names. Colin Farrell, Samuel L. Jackson, Michelle Rodriguez, and LL Cool J. So definitely a bigger budget film than all of these people who, frankly, I don't even know who they are. I don't recognize any of these names on here at all. And I'm sure the sequel to this one, so the third one in the trilogy, probably even smaller of a budget. But yeah, I don't know. I figured I'd pick it up just because I didn't know it existed. It was on Blu-ray and I own the original, so why not? I'll be intrigued to see if this series is any good or not. This is SWAT Firefight. And the second Blu-ray I got is a movie that came out when I worked at Family Video, and I always meant to rent it, but never got around to it. This is Silver Linings Playbook with Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence. So the cast alone made me want to see it because they're excellent, and I'm gonna guess they're probably pretty good together just because they're so talented. And this one is about mental health, I believe. I know they are love interests, if I'm not mistaken, and it just looked interesting from the trailers that I saw. So when I found it on Blu-ray for cheap, of course, I had to pick it up. So now this one is finally in the collection. I can finally watch it. This is Silver Linings Playbook. All right, so let's jump over to the DVDs now. And of course, I have more DVDs than anything else because that's just what you find from the thrift store. So first up is The Sandlot 2. Now, this is a sequel to a movie that I absolutely love. I grew up with The Sandlot and I love that film, but I've never seen the sequel to this. And I know there is one or two more sequels to this film also that I don't own. So I'll be looking for those as I go. But yeah, this apparently takes place 10 years after the original, and James Earl Jones is back. I guess they end up losing like their model plane in his backyard again. So it sounds like it's going to be a very similar story, but it's written and directed by the exact same director of the original, who is David Mickey Evans. So hopefully it'll be enjoyable. We'll see. I'm intrigued to check it out. This is The Sandlot 2. This next one has a pretty cool snapper case with it. Not in the best shape, but it's all right. This is Samurai Jack, and you can see there was a sticker that got ripped off, and it ripped some of the packaging with it, which is disappointing. But yeah, so this is, from what I can tell, the like movie that kicked off the series. So I don't know if that means that it is the pilot episode before the series begins, or if this was like a standalone thing. But it's only 70 minutes long, so not terribly long, but it looks interesting. I've not seen any Samurai Jack, and so I figured, for 50 cents, I might as well pick it up, see if I enjoy it. I know the complete series of this is available. I think it's on Blu-ray even if I end up loving this, so we'll see. I like the quote on the back here. It says, "A cross between Bruce Lee and Clint Eastwood. The strong, silent type, a noble, nimble, tireless hero." Like, that just sounds fun. I know my buddy ended up picking up Samurai Jack the series, and he didn't like it, if I remember right. So I'm intrigued to see if I enjoy it anymore. This is Samurai Jack, the premiere movie. This next one is a comedy that people probably don't like this that much, I would imagine, but I don't know. I love it. My wife loves it. This is Fun with Dick and Jane, and this is the Jim Carrey and Tia Leone remake of this. This is such a funny movie to me. Like, there's so many lines in this that my wife and I quote to each other all the time. Like, it's hilarious. One of our favorites is "We're in a bit of a pickle here, Dick." I don't know why, but that line is just amazing. It is so funny. I love Jim Carrey in this, and it's a really fun story to watch. So yeah, really enjoy this one. Definitely feels of its time because it takes place right around that bubble, the real estate bubble, where basically things were going kind of crazy. And so it feels very much of its time. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. This is the remake of Fun with Dick and Jane. Whenever I can find anything National Lampoon, I always pick it up, and this is exactly what this is. National Lampoon presents Dorm Days. So this is a movie I don't know much about at all. It says it's everything that made Animal House and Vacation standalone comedies. So yeah, we'll see if this one is any enjoyable or not. Every National Lampoon thing I've seen, which I guess really isn't that many, but what I have seen I've really enjoyed. And so now whenever I can, if it says National Lampoon on it, then I pick it up. So that's why I ended up grabbing this one. This is Dorm Days. In my inherited movie collection, I actually got the sequel to this movie, and I've been trying to find the original for a long time now. Well, finally, I found Airport, and it's in a cool snapper case, which I believe the actual the sequel actually is as well. And I want to say it's Airport 76, I think, is the sequel that I have. Now, I believe this is another one where there's like 4 movies in this franchise, but hey, at least now I have the first 2. It just looks like a fun series that I've heard really good things about, so I'm excited to check it out. This is Airport. This next one I actually watched part of when I was a lot younger, probably when it was like first airing on TV, but I never watched the whole thing, and I just have always been intrigued to go back to it. This is The 13th Floor. So this looks like a mix of like fantasy and sci-fi, almost a bit neo-noir based on some of the screenshots and what it's about, but I guess it's like time travel in this as well. It says on the back here that they've opened the door to an amazing virtual world circa 1937 Los Angeles. So like, I don't know. The whole thing just sounds super intriguing, and it has Vincent D'Onofrio in it. Like, I'm in. I'm very excited to see how this one is. This is The 13th Floor. This next one was the other one that I found just the other day with the Blu-rays and the VHS tape. This is Sylvester Stallone in Get Carter. So I thought I owned this one and was quite surprised when I didn't, but this is based on a book. What's the book called? Jack's Return Home is the book that this is based on, but it looks like just a fun action film. So, and it's Stallone, what's not to enjoy? And what's really cool, so this is a snapper, but what's inside this, I love. Do you guys remember these little booklets? DVD, the ultimate movie experience, and you can get a free DVD movie if you do, something that it asks you to do inside. And so then it just lists a bunch of movies that are available on DVD. Like, I used to love these things when I was younger because I wanted to know like what movies to watch and things like that. And so I always enjoyed getting those, but I thought that was cool that it was still included in this snapper case. So yeah, that's awesome. Anyway, this is Get Carter. This next one I've been trying to find for so long now, and Disc Replay never had it until after I bought this one from the thrift store. I go back to Disc Replay, and of course, there it is, because that's how it goes. But anyway, this is How High, and I believe this is early 2000s, like 2002. So it's right in the era where I was watching movies like this, so I should have seen this one by now, probably multiple times, but for whatever reason, I've just never gotten around to it. Of course, you have Method Man and Redman, and it's supposed to be hilarious. I love on the back here, it says, add a dash of hip-hop with National Lampoon's Animal House, and you will end up with How High. So I don't know, I'm intrigued, I've heard great things, and I definitely am excited to check this one out. This is How High. I wish I could remember how I ended up falling in love with this movie, because it's not a type of movie that I would typically watch when it was on TV, but I remember for whatever reason, whenever this came on, I would watch it on like TBS or TNT or whatever station it was on, and I just really enjoyed it because it's a fantastic film. This is Fried Green Tomatoes. Like I said, not the type of movie that I would typically sit down and watch, but this movie is so good in virtually every way, and I needed it in my collection. It has been too long since I've seen this one now, and so when I came across the DVD, I absolutely knew I was picking it up. This is one that I should probably own this on Blu-ray because I enjoy it so much, but yeah, this is just such a great movie. It takes place in the South and goes through time, not like time travel, but covers a long length of time, I guess I'll say, and it's just very sweet and crazy at points, makes you cry, makes you laugh. This is a good movie. I need to watch this one again, but I love this. I've seen it multiple times, but not since I've owned the DVD now. This is Fried Green Tomatoes. This next one feels very different from Fried Green Tomatoes, but looks just as fun. This is I'm Gonna Get You Sucka. So of course I've heard of this one in passing in the past. It is a well-known blaxploitation film from 1988, but I've never watched it before. And so now I have it in my collection. I am very intrigued to see how this one is. It just looks fun. And look at this cover art. It is just terribly wonderful in every imaginable way. So yeah, very happy I was able to find I'm Gonna Get You Sucka. I was so happy to come across this next one because it's a little bit more difficult to find, at least from my experience. I haven't been able to see it otherwise, but I'm happy to have it. This is Three Ninjas. Now, I used to love these movies when I was younger. I watched them at my friend's house a lot. I never owned them, but I remember renting them on VHS a lot and watching them over at my friends, and it's just a lot of fun. Like it says on the front here, crosses Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Home Alone. I loved both of those things when I was younger, so of course I loved this DVD with this beautiful cover art. The pink and the orange, it just looks so cool. It is so very 90s, and I love it. So yeah, I'm very happy to have this. Now I just need to find the sequels to this, because in reality, I watched Three Ninjas Kick Back a lot more than I've seen the original, so I need to find it. But again, it's just kind of hard to find these, at least in my area, in the wild, so I might end up going online to find the rest. But this is another one where I think there are two sequels to this, and I don't even know if I've seen the third one or not. But yeah, very happy that I was able to find Three Ninjas. So this next one has to be one of my favorite finds of the haul, simply because it's from the Asylum, and you guys know I love adding to my Asylum collection. This is Wuthering High. So you guys know on the back, I always have to read what it, oh, you know what? It doesn't have it here. It just says, based on the classic tale of obsession, jealousy, and revenge. So this is based on the Emily Bronte classic. Yes, please. I need to see what Asylum does with this. Totally not what I would normally pick up from Asylum. Well, not what I traditionally grab from Asylum, I guess. But anything Asylum for this price, I'm picking up. But yeah, I'm just super intrigued to see what this one is going to be all about. And you can see it looks like James Caan is in this. Yes, please. That's awesome. So, I don't know. Looks fantastic in the Asylum way. Cannot wait to check out Wuthering High. So the last one for today is awesome because I've been looking for this for so long now. This is Star Wars Clone Wars Volume 2. So I actually found Volume 1 of this 2 or 3 years ago now. It feels like a long time. And I've been looking for Volume 2 ever since, because when I looked it up online, at least when I first found the Volume 1, it was pretty expensive to get Volume 2. So I said, forget it. I'll just try to find it in the wild. Now, what kills me is every time I found this until now, it's always been an empty disc, or it's had the Volume 1 disc inside, even though it was labeled Volume 2. No idea why that happened, but finally, this one, as you can see on the inside, actually has volume 2 disc in it, which is fantastic. So yeah, like so happy to have this one. Now, I don't really know exactly what this series is. If I'm remembering right, this was like a volume 2. So this was a short series that ran before the multi-season Star Wars Clone Wars series that came out after it. And so yeah, it's kind of one of those weird ones that falls in between two different things, but one I'm very happy to have. So now I need to finally watch this now that I have the entire series. So very happy. I was finally able to find Star Wars Clone Wars Volume 2 to wrap up everything for the 28th episode of my Thrift Store Haul. All right, so from VHS to Blu-ray, what a fitting way to wrap up my current stacks of my thrift store hauls. So like I said, this will not be the end of this series. It just might be a few weeks, maybe a month or two before you see the 29th episode of my thrift store haul series, because right now my shelves are empty of thrift store items, which is a good thing because it's been taking me a long time to get through all of these. But let me know down in the comments below, what have you found from your local thrift stores lately? Anything cool worth talking about? Leave those comments down below and give me any recommendations from this pile that I've not seen. I love hearing you guys recommend me different things, so thank you so much for that and all of your support down there. I really appreciate it. But as always, if you guys enjoyed this one, please hit that like button down below. That engagement really does help me out. And like I always say, I don't just talk movies, I talk all things media. Books, movies, video games, graphic novels, manga. If it's media related rather, I'm interested in it, and if you are too, you might consider subscribing. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for today. I just want to say thank you all so much for watching, and I want to encourage you to consume some media today. I'll catch you next time.